The new year is here. Let's talk goals. So first, this year, 3 days into the new year, I turned 40. And I feel like on a subconscious level, that is driving a lot of my goals and a lot of where my mindset is right now. I'm so ready to live the life of the woman I want to be that the choices that I'm making are very much aligned with that feeling. And that affects my personal life, that affects my business and how I handle business. And so let's just talk about all of it. First, I want to start with my word of the year. My word of the year is fearless, which is very much in line with me living the life of the woman I want to be. I have this tattoo on my wrist that is Morse code for be brave. I got that, I believe, in 2017 or 2018. And I put it on my arm around the time when I knew that I was leaving my job to pursue entrepreneurship, freelancing, and I wanted it as a reminder to just feel the fear and do it anyway. And while I've been doing good at that, I'm ready to take things up a notch. And that's really where I feel like that is a thread throughout my life. Like, I've been doing really good, but I want to do great this year. I told my husband, because you know the joke is always new year, new you. But he said, I can't even remember what I was talking about, but I was like, no, new year, better me. Like, I don't need to become a completely different person. I just need to lean harder into the things that I want. And so that is what I'm doing. And in order for me to do that, I need to not be afraid. Part of what I'm leaving in 2023 and what I've left in 2023 is a lot of the self-doubt and standing in my way that I was doing. It's so easy to get caught up in mindset stuff. And one of the things that, like, I feel like being an entrepreneur and being a freelancer, working for yourself, is there's a lot of mindset stuff that you have to overcome in order to run your business the way you want to run it. And I have been working on, if anyone's a follower of Rachel Rogers and her book, We Should All Be Millionaires, taking out the mind trash. I've been taking out so much mind trash since I started on this journey, and then continuing to do so. So one of the things I left in 2023, self-doubt and standing in my way. I do this thing where I will talk myself out of things all the time, even though I want them, and I'm done. We're not doing that anymore. I caught myself doing it the other day, and I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Like, if we want this, let's get it. Like, let's do it. Let's, lean into it. I don't want to keep myself from living the way I want to live because of some some childhood stuff. Someone told me this or that. Like, it doesn't matter. All that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is, what do I want in this moment, and what things are going to bring some ease, some joy, what is going to bless me in my life. And I'm going to go for those things. I no longer am going to allow myself to do without. So there's a woman who owns a business called The Business of Community, and her name is Tatiana, and she did a piece on calm ambition. Appropriate sentiment to remember as we get into the new year. One thing that I did last year was to ease into the new year. Instead of just like hitting the ground hard, let's go, let's goals. Like, I was like, you know what? I have my goals. I'm going to slowly start working on them, and then allow myself to sort of follow the seasonal approach, because the winter time to me is for a lot of rest and reflection. And even though we still have to work, capitalism, like, I think that we should ease into the year. When spring is here and summer, like, those are the times when, like, life feels busy and you're really going for it. But I would say these next few months are there to sort of lay the groundwork for what you want to accomplish. And so I am easing into the year. I am not filling up my calendar to the brim, which I really would like to take into the rest of the year, but we'll see how things unfold this year. I'm allowing myself to sort of still feel out, like, are these goals that are really aligned with what I want to do and who I want to be, and allowing myself to sort of fill things out and then determine if I still need to keep the goal or not. So now that I've sort of laid down the groundwork of how I am approaching these goals, let's get into them. So first up, business goals. I have my bullet journal here, and I actually just went back to bullet journaling because another thing I left in 2023 was Asana. If you're not familiar with Asana, it's a project management tool, and that's how I was that's what I was using to capture my task and keep things organized. But before that, I was bullet journaling for years, and I got to this point where everything felt so overwhelming, aka burnout. That's what was going on, where I felt like I needed to write things down in order to get everything done. But in reality, you can only get like 4 or 5 tasks done in a day. And like when I'm saying tasks, like big things, like sure, you can check your email, you can check social if that's something that you're managing, but those are small things. But like you can only get like a few big things done in a day. But I was trying to get 11 things done, and it was just too much. And now I'm using a combination of time blocking and bullet journaling in order to lessen my workload, but also get the things that really need to be done. I will probably create a video on that in a few months. Once the work is picked up and once I've really gotten into the year, I think it'll be a good time to really test the system to see how I feel about it then. But so far I love it. So I have a tab in my journal for goals. And so the first thing that I want to do is really grow my community. I mentioned this, if you've watched my video about a day in a life, you probably already know I started a community in October of last year where I invited Black and brown and women and non-binary people who work in craft beer to join the community so that we can support each other and work together to advance our careers in the industry. And so that community is fairly new, and there are a lot of things that I need to learn and I need to create and set up and develop and all of those things so that community can be what I picture in my head. So one of my primary goals this year is to work on the community, grow the community, and see where I am in a year from October. I'm not only focused on growth of members, but I'm also focused on growing the offerings. So I want the people who are part of the community to feel the value of it, and like that's very important to me. My second goal, which probably should be my first goal, is to replace the income I lost from my social media client. I had a social media client for the last 2 years. They decided to take their work in-house for 2024, and so I need to replace that income in order to make payroll, to be completely honest. And so I have a few feelers out. I've been talking to someone about having a different position that would be a really great fit for my personal and professional career goals. And so hopefully that comes through. If not, I'm just looking for writing jobs or social advocacy work, something that is a little long term. And the last thing I'm focused on for my business is posting consistently to YouTube and Substack. Those are 2 channels that I own and have the ability to monetize. I have received some revenue from Substack, but I am just starting out new on YouTube. And this also goes back to me becoming the woman I want. I'm very interested in developing this channel and creating content for it. And yeah, I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. So no huge like exact goals for that. It's just focus on consistency. And I will mention I do have like specific number goals for the other 2 goals, but y'all are my business enough and I don't need to tell you all of that. So those are the things that I'm focused on. And actually I am doing my goals a little differently this year. I'm only focused on Q1, and then we'll reevaluate which goals I want to pursue going forward. I'm not going to be worried about the entire year. It's just too much. There's so much that can happen in a year, and goals can shift and priorities can shift. And so I am only focused on 12 weeks. I'm actually following the framework of the 12-week year. I'll leave a link for that book as well in the description. It's really great to start by creating your 3 to 5 year vision for the future. And from there, you will decide like, what are some goals that I need to focus on now in order to start making my way to this vision. And it has you not only figure out your goals, and they recommend you only focus on like 2 to 3, and then you break those goals down into actionable steps. So I have for each of the goals, like I have actionable steps that will help me reach the goals. That way I have a plan, because I think a lot of people, they end up, well, there are a few reasons why I feel like people don't hit their goals. One, they forget about them, like they don't keep them top of mind. 2, they don't have an action plan for how to achieve those goals. And then they don't have a why. They don't really know why they want to achieve the goal. Like you could want to do something because you see someone else doing it, but do you really want to do that? Or you just want a part of what that person has and not exactly what they're doing. So I'm sure there are other reasons out there, but those are what came to me top of mind. Of course, I have some personal goals. One of my biggest ones is just to move more. I used to be an avid runner, like probably about 10 years ago I started running, and I'm like looking at, I still have, like I had this bulletin board that had all my race bibs on it. I have my medals hanging from it. I have my PRs for each, like a 5K, a 10K and a half. There is so much value I got out of running. The ability to stay consistent with something and see results from it. And I'm not just talking about weight loss. Like it was very powerful for me to see my ability to run a 5K to a 10K to a half marathon, like being able to run a route and feel like it was getting easier and easier. Like that is an amazing feeling, and it feels so rewarding to see that progress. And I think that, you know, there is something about when the body is right, the mind is right, like there is some type of connection there. And so I really want to move more, and part of that is adding running back to my workout routine. So the goal there is to run 3 times a week. So far I've been hitting it. It's been great. I've been loving it. Another personal goal of mine is to do the New York Times crossword every day. I used to do it back when I was commuting on the train and really enjoyed the mind exercise of it all. And then of course when I stopped taking the train, that habit just fell by the wayside, and I want to be someone who does the New York Times crossword. So I've started doing it. I've started adding it in, and it's helped me stay off of social media so much. I've realized, like, over these past few days, I am not sitting on social media. I am not like just randomly picking up my phone because I feel that itch to do something. I just go to the crossword, and when I'm done with that, then I sort of feel like it's okay to scroll on social a little bit. But that is it for me. I would love to hear what you are working towards for 2024. Or maybe there's some things that you have decided to leave in 2023. I would love to hear them. If you have a word of the year, I would also love to hear that. And until next week, see you.